temperature produced rupa kalapas. Third is temperature produced rupa kalapas. Also can be mind produced rupa kalapas according to the conditions. Then we have the last group among the cognitive body parts. Mutta Chaka, urine septate. So here we have to start with tears. So when we feel sad, tears come out. So there is a mind produce. Sometimes we are very happy, also tears come out. Tears gathering in our eyes. That's also mind produce. Sometimes, like when we peel or when we chop onion, or when we are going to like a smash chili, then when chili enter into the eyes, some a piece of chili splash eyes, then tear come out. At the time, it's temperature produced. So we have to know that tear can be produced by two. One is produced by mind, another one is produced by temperature. So we can also understand it can be only two types of rupa kalapas. It's produced by mind. This can be mind produced rupa kalapas. When produced by temperature, it's temperature produced rupa kalapas. So only two types of kalapas in the tears. Then grease. So this one is only it is like a similar to or previous like what the other elements body parts, similar to other element body parts. Like it can be body translucency, such as kalapas. Also can be latnonic kalapas, then mind produce, temperature produce, nutriment produce kalapas. This one has many different rupa kalapas. Then saliva. We all have known that one. So saliva also, sometimes when somebody eating limes or lemons or some other sour foods, saliva will gather inside our mouths, right? That is it, mind produce. Because of seeing, right? Because of seeing, we have a lot of saliva inside our mouth. That is called mind produced rupa kalapas. So now we can also understand it can be temperature produced. Sometimes if we are thirsty or if whether it's very hot or because of maybe other situations, the mouth is too dry for example, right? The saliva, there is saliva inside the mouth more. So the main thing is saliva can be produced by two. The first one is mind, the second one is temperature. So only there can be two types of rupa kalapas. The first one is produced by minds. It is mind produced rupa kalapas. Second is temperature. Then it's produced by temperature produced rupa kalapas. So there are only 8 types of materialities in every single kalapas. Then snoot. So snoot also similar to saliva. Sometimes because of weather, because of mind also, sometimes it can be. And now the last one, the next one is synovia. Sorry. So it can be, synovia is, okay, you have already know synovia is in the joint, right? So it can be similar to grease. Body translucency, Then also some materialities, like non-clappers, mind produce clappers, temperature produce clappers, determine produce clappers. Then the last one, urine. Urine is only temperature produce rupa clappers. So now we have to know that different body parts may have different number of materialities, different types of materialities. So there are some similar body parts, similar types of materiality in many body parts. So this is the second group. We can say 12 water elements predominant body parts. So we have already explained the first 20 is earth element predominant body parts. Now the second groups, two groups, right? Altogether 12. These 12 are called water elements predominant body parts. Then we have to use the next group. The next group is fire elements predominant body parts. Then from time to time, some meditator also asks me, Wendy, where can we find 42 body parts? Is it Buddha teaching? Or is it commentary or sub-commentary? But many questions from many different meditators. Then there are some people, Wendy, is it only possible to create this method? No. Then I have to explain where can we find all these thoughts, 42 body parts. Yes, we have already known that 32 body parts can be found in many different sutras. Even Mahasatipatthana Sutta mentions 32 body parts. This is very well-known sutras for meditators. But now, for about 42 body parts, it's very rare. But we can find in Majjhima Nikaya, Maharahula Vara Sutta. The Buddha explained these 42 body parts to Venerable Rahula. You have already known who is Rahula. It's Buddha's only son. But you also have known that Venerable Rahula was ordained since he was 7 years old. But he didn't attain any higher path and spiritual knowledge. After ordination, after receiving higher ordination, that he has a chance to listen this discourse from the Buddha. He practiced by himself, he attained hardship. So all the previous body parts I have explained also can be found in Maharahula Vara Sutta. Actually, Maharahula Sutta is a very wide and very long discourse. Not only for these body parts, there are also many other things we can learn from the suttas. Okay, now we have already said this one can be learned in Majjhima Nikaya, Maharahula Vara Sutta. The discourse on admonishment for Venerable Rahula. Then most of the body parts we have live non-clappers. So that means in the case of 5 elements predominant body parts, in every body finally, nutriment produce other clappers. In the 5 elements predominant body parts, mostly we can find these 4 types of rupa clappers.
Sorry, Sayadaw. Just now there was no sound for a while. For the second temperature bond.
Okay, temperature bond.
Yeah,
that one. Okay, yes. Temperature. Okay, temperature produces other clappers, right?
Yes.
After that, we also have nutriment produce other clappers. So in almost in every body parts, in the 5 elements predominant body parts, then there will be these 4. There is an exception in one of them. Okay, so we have to remember these 4 types of rupa kalapas. Although we have explained 32 body parts, we can find 32 body parts in many different sutras. The 42 body parts are very rare. I have said. So now we have to use what are the body parts. Heat or fever. When we have fever, we can discern this body parts. So this body part is also live non-kalapas. This is also 5 elements predominant. The mind produces rupa kalapas, also 5 elements predominant. Then temperature produces rupa kalapas, this is also 5 elements predominant. Nutriment produces rupa kalapas, this is also 5 elements predominant. So this is called heat or fever. You can imagine how many types of rupa kalapas there can be. So when we have sickness, we may have all these types of rupa kalapas in the body. That's why body is heaty. Then again, heat of aging. So in this body, we also have some heat. It will exist all the time. It make our body mature and mature. By the power of this body part, this heat of aging, we grow older and older. We look aging, older and we look older. So this heat of aging is also life non-kalapas, 5 elements predominant. This is also mind produces rupa kalapas, 5 elements predominant. Then temperature produces rupa kalapas, right? The all 5 elements predominant. Nutriment produces rupa kalapas, 5 elements predominant. And the next one is body temperature. Yes, our body temperature is not very stable, right? But here agents are always stable. We are getting older and older. So body temperature is unstable. It depends on the place we live. Always changing. But anyway, body temperature also the same as previous 2. Live non-kalapas, mind produces kalapas, then temperature produces kalapas, nutriment produces kalapas. We can find all these things in these 3 body parts. The last one, digestive heat. This is the digestion. Nutriment produces kalapas. We can find all these things in these 3. So, digestive heat, the last one, is like digestive heat is from our body, everywhere in our body. So that's one. What? So digestive heat can be in every body parts. That's why we can listen everywhere. This is only live non-kalapas. Digestive is not produced by mind. It's produced by karma. But anyway, if we know how to protect, sure, we have good digestion, right? So then digestive heat is live non-kalapas. It depends on the way we eat also. Anyway, the main thing is
We didn't come in, so
We didn't come in.
the first.
Dating, I think, or got something on.
What happened? The first 3, heat of fever, heat of aging, body temperature, are 4 types of rupa kalapas, right? Live non-kalapas, mind produces kalapas, temperature produces kalapas, and finally, nutriment produces kalapas. But digestive heat is only live non-kalapas. These will be different from one another. This is the first part of the 42 body parts. Then we have the last part. This is one element's predominant body parts. Now we have already known wind elements in all over the body. So here, upgoing wind. Yes, we have winds all over the body. Some of the winds will go up. Then it will be same as previous body part, like life non-kalapas, mind produce, temperature produce, nutriment produce. Then downgoing wind, it will be the same. And we have abdominal wind, a wind in the abdomen, outside the intestine. It will be the same. And we have like an intestinal wind. And it will be inside the intestine. It will be the same. Then finally, winds in the limbs. It will go everywhere inside the body. This is called wind in the limbs. So these five five body parts have life non-kalapas, mind produce materialities, then temperature produce materialities, then there are also nutriment produce materialities. We have the final one, the last one, in our breath. Yes, we have already explained in our previous Dhamma talk. In our breath is also mind produce materialities. This is only mind produce. Sometimes we can also hear the sound, right? That's why mind produce materiality together with the sound. Sometimes it can be smooth, sometimes it cannot be smooth. We can breathe and breathe out smoothly. Sometimes we cannot breathe and breathe out smoothly. It depends on situations. We may have different types of Rupakalapas. Okay, now if we summarize among the wind elements, predominant body parts, upgoing winds, downgoing winds, abdominal winds, intestinal winds, and wind in limbs, have four different types of Rupakalapas. Life non-kalapas, mind produce Rupakalapas, temperature produce Rupakalapas, nutriment produce Rupakalapas. The last one, in our breath, has only one type of Rupakalapas. It's mind produce. So these are called 42 body parts. If we summarize, there are 20 earth elements predominant body parts. There are 12 water elements predominant body parts. There are 4 fire elements predominant body parts. There are 6 wind elements predominant body parts. All these are called 42 body parts. So we have to discern all these body parts one after another. If we can discern very well, we may have the perceptions only rupa, only materialities. We may not have any perceptions of man, woman, living things, or non-living things. This is the purpose of practicing this meditation. Then we have to introduce slowly discerning materialities. That means how we do in our daily life. The first one, discerning 4 elements in the body. It's just normal discernment in the very beginning. Then the second, discerning the 4 elements in the translucent body. So that means if we can discern the 4 elements very clearly, also systematically, then we can also see transparent body, translucent body. Then when we can discern 4 elements on it, then the next steps, discerning the four elements and the particles. Yes, we also have to know one more thing. When we can discern space elements in the translucent body, we can also see the particles. We must discern four elements in the particles. This one, discerning four elements in its single particles. You must try to know all the elements in one single color parts. After that, discerning the materialities and the particles in the 6 roles. That's what we call four elements in brief method. Now, finally, we talk about today discerning the materialities in the 42 body parts. This is it in detail method. So if we can discern all these steps one after another, now we have another steps. That one is discerning all the external things, living things, non-living things. We can expand the light, discern four elements. What about them? We see, we know, and we see only four elements in everywhere and everything. That is called discerning materialities. If we can know what about then as rupa klapas, then we may not have any attachment to it. We can also feel emptiness in the body. They will arise rapidly. They will arise and perish very rapidly. We can also know the nature of anicca. We can also know the nature of dukkha and many other things. Okay, now the main thing is, as long as we can know the four elements in all of the body, this is good enough for beginners. If we can discern four elements in single particles, in every single particles, although in 6 rows or 42 body parts, is getting better. If we can know all over the worlds as four elements, it will be the best. After that, we can also discern like is it only rupa, no man, no woman like this. Then there will be improvements for our practice. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Then may you all be able to practice the four elements systematically as the foundations of Vipassana. May you all be able to practice better than that. And also may you all be able to realize the final cessation and no suffering, Nibbana.
Thank you, Bendy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bendy, today we have no questions sent in before the class, so we will take questions from the floor directly.
Okay. Okay.
So if you have questions for Bendy, please raise your hand. Dharma friend Susie, please proceed with your question.
So you said miscentrary for in one part, in 32 parts, you translated miscentrary. But in Burmese, it said Uma, Uday, Sadit, Saham, Ona, right? So it is Uday. Uday is in a small intestine, and then Uma would be large intestine.
No. This is a little bit. Also, this is a traditional mistake, right?
I see. Okay.
No, Uday. Uday means like a small thread that tied up the intestine and small. Yeah? Uday. Because like in Myanmar, we also like Uchijo,
Okay.
Uchijo. Okay.
Okay. And then what about you said Greece? No, you said that's CG. Not really saying as well. CG. What is CG actually? CG.
Okay.
Actually,
that one is very simple. When we have a lot of sweat after sweating on our forehead, right? There's a breeze, right? Like wine, like wine.
Okay.
All these are called.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Uttamarafya.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Bendy.
Okay, because of raining.
Okay. Next question is from the chat group. Dear Sayadaw, when one gets upachara samadhi by 4 dhatus practice, so how can one reach apana samadhi from a 4 attenjana?
Okay, so by only practicing 4 elements, we cannot attain jhana. But after practicing up to asset concentration, we can also practice 32 body parts, as I have said in the very beginning, right? 32 body parts. This is only samatha 32 body parts. Based on that, we can also proceed practicing kasinas. For example, kala kasinas. Here is black. We can do some black kasina. We can take first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. If we can do, we can also practice immaterial jhana, right? So by only practicing 4 elements, we cannot. We have to go to another steps. Okay?
Thank you, Bendy. Next question is in Chinese. Interpret, Bendy. Could you help, please?
Yes, SJY have a question regarding this Rahula, Venerable Rahula. Actually, what kamatana did he practice in order to attain arahantship for Venerable Rahula?
Okay, so and he practiced all of this step and step, and he didn't have to shift. Okay.
Bandami Bendy, how do we discern the 4 elements discerning as rising and preparation?
So that means after discerning all the rupa kalapas, we can also see they are rising and preparation rapidly. After that, we can discern rising and preparation. Just only seeing kalapas, don't discern it. Okay, just trying to see 4 elements in all the kalapas and they are rising and preparation. We can also know. Okay.
Okay, and Dhamma friend Anana Dhammiko, please proceed your question.
Okay. Now, right now, I have to change location. Sorry.
Pandami Sayadaw.
Okay.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Sayadaw.
Okay.
This is my experiment. When sometime Sayadaw has talked about in and out breath can produce mind produce became have a sound. How to problem? Sometimes I feel have a sound in the nose and lungs. Sometimes I'm very angry. I think maybe have some people want to know about me. Is it right or no? No to me mean is to reading our mind. Or this is right or no, Sayadaw? Please, Sayadaw, advise. Thank you very much.
No, not quite clear. What's the question?
The question is how to solve the problem. Sometimes in and out breaths, I feel a sound. Sound in back, and then in the lungs. Have a sound too.
Okay. So the main thing is when you are practicing anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, don't think about the body parts. It's not very important, right? So this is not body parts meditation. If you think about many other things, it will happen. For example, like if you think about your head, you can also experience many different things in your head. If you think about your body, you can also see many different things in your body like this. That's why when you are practicing anapanasati, purely focus on the breath. Don't think about any other things. Okay?
Okay, Sayadaw. And then this will be Paris alone, come and go like that. The sound.
The thought, you mean thoughts? You mean the thoughts? What do you mean? The thoughts, you mean? Hello?
Have a relationship or not with the another thought?
No, that means actually don't think about the thoughts, right? So thought is another subject already. When you are focused on the breath, don't think about the thoughts. Just think about the breath. Keep knowing breathing, it will be much better, right? Also, don't analyze too much. If you analyze too much, it will be very messy. Okay?
Okay, saya tahu. Wandami saya tahu. Sadu.
Any other questions? Dharma friend Desmond, please proceed with your question.
顶礼尊者，如果说修安般念的时候，
If someone practice anapanasati, when the breath, if the breath did not touch the skin near the nostril, how the meditator can know the breath? This is his question.
So in the very beginning, you have to start with the touching sensation. But later, when you become skillful, you can also know without touching. Okay, for example, sometimes you can know something moving around your nostril. You don't know the skin. It's possible. Especially when you very much study the breath. It can happen many times for many different meditators. Okay?
但是如果说纵使那个呼吸很粗糙的时候，也没有办法感觉到。
Sometimes even the breath is very gross, but he still cannot know the touching sensation. So how does he know the breath? Even the breath is very gross, but he doesn't know the sensation of touching.
Okay, as long as you can know breathing, don't think about sensation, it's better. If you cannot know the sensation, it's better for practitioner.
怎么算是知道那个气息呢？
Then how should one decide whether he has already know the breath?
Okay, as long as you can feel it, you can know it. Okay, that means you can decide. If you cannot know anything, well, like something like a wave, or something like a crawling insect, or something like whether the feather is touching or something like that, you can know that as a breath. Okay. Can you hear me?
好，谢谢。
Thank you, Seattle.
Okay.
There is a Chinese question from the chat group. Interpreter Bendy.
Seattle, this one meditator, he would like to ask, after practicing the brief method of 4-element meditation, does one need to proceed to detailed method or not?
So mostly we recommend to proceed detailed methods. So as long as we can know very much in detail, then there will be better practice for the future. The more we can know in detail, the better for our future. That's why we recommend to practice detailed method. Okay.
Then any questions? Shadow Mahasi technique also for Dhatu's practice. So how can one make different samatha and vipassana practice? Sadhu.
Okay, so in the samatha, we just know only 4 elements. In vipassana, we have to know 6 door materialities and 42 body parts. We can divide like that. All right? So I'm not teaching Mahasi, that's why I cannot explain Mahasi way. Okay.
There's another question from the chat group. Interpret Bandy.
This another question about Anapanasati. In the Anapanasati, the in and out of the breath is actually directional concept, is a panyati. So can he say that focusing on to the in and out breath means focusing on the directional concept, directional panyati? Is that true?
Actually, there are many other things. For example, like short and long. This is also Upanida Panyati, right? Comparison Panyati. So similarly, like a sudden and gross comparison, right? There can be many other types of concepts. That's why, okay, if we know as a concept, don't analyze too much, right? It will be very messy.
Any other questions? Okay, there's no question from students, Bandy. Can we stop today's session?
Okay. So we will share merit, right?
Oh, sadhu, 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 Bandy. Thank you for teaching us today, and thank you our interpret Bandy for the translation. May we invite Bandy to lead us in making aspirations and sharing of merits.
Okay. Idawadaja amehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe sada numodandu sabba sambadi siriya idame nyadinam hodu sukita hondu nyadayo idame nyadinam hodu sukita hondu nyadayo idame nyadinam hodu sukita hondu nyadayo idame bunyam asawekaya waham hodu idame bunyam nibbanasa bhajayo hodu mama bunya bagam sabasadanam bhajemi de sabe me samam punya bagam labandu sadhu.
Thank you, Bandy, and everyone for your time and participation. Till we meet on next